What's up? What's happening, y'all? Tap in. What it is? What's up? You're locked into your boy Big Frank. We are here inside the studio in the city of Niagara Falls, New York.
We here.
I'm still a little hurt because her camera looks my camera looks so up close and personal, but
it does actually though.
Right, but it's okay. We're here.
Two different angles,
but we're here. So this is my friend Kiera. For those of Kiera Agee.
What's up, y'all? What's up?
Inject faith, hope,
and love. Yes. Follow me.
How long you been doing that for now?
It'll be 5 years this year. Yes. Actually, maybe longer. I don't know, y'all. I gotta go check. But yeah, Inject faith, hope, love is just spreading the love. That's literally what it is. All
right, so y'all know what we do. This is I put on my caption is it's just a real conversation. This is my sister in the Lord, and we're just gonna talk about some real things, real swift, and with no limitations. If you are offended, you can feel free to email or message Hanley Holdings LLC at gmail.com or fire716radio at gmail.com. I'll be glad to answer or address any challenges you may have with this conversation on this evening. Now I know y'all got church in the morning. Keep calm, breathe, shake, let it go. But come on, tap in and join it. So
that's a fact.
Now, my girl Kiera recently had the Community Day of Prayer, something that she's been doing now for 4 years.
4 years.
Okay.
Crazy.
And I showed up a little late.
But you stayed late too, so it's all good. It's all good.
I still got the apples in my refrigerator. Got a juice.
I meant to ask you too. Like, have you been juicing?
So what happened was the person who was going to juice them for me juices apples on a regular. She ended up bringing me a 5-gallon bucket of apple juice.
That's crazy.
So
but that's
I'll
lit.
tap in. It needs to carry
some time.
But let's get into this conversation. Let's not even delay any further. What's on your heart? What's on your mind?
Man, so as most of y'all know already, the Day of Prayer was allegedly shut down.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be held at Gluck Park this year. This was the first year that we were at Gluck Park. It's been at Gill Creek for the previous 3 years. Friday, we got the notice that we did not meet the insurance guidelines, so we had to relocate. So we switched our location from Gluck Park to the backyard at Word of Life Ministries. Oh, I like that. That's good. So, everybody just want to know what happened, what's going on, and the facts is the facts. We went to, I did not go personally, but a member went to the committee, the event committee, that week prior to the event. And then was informed of the the new insurance requirements. These insurance requirements have not been in place for the past 3 years. These are new requirements, and was told that we needed to have them by the time we have the event. These insurance requirements are not something that you can acquire quickly. So within those 7 days, we still were not able to obtain that insurance. So this is why we had to relocate. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I was upset at first. I wasn't totally down though, because I was thinking about the labor side, like, hey, we don't have to lug stuff to the park. We could just take it upstairs and we good. But then I thought about it, like, why should we just be good with it? Like, why should we just sit here and be quiet? Like, nobody said anything. Like, nobody said sorry. And, not pointing fingers, but the politicians show up every other year. This year they wasn't there.
This is not a voting year, but I want to be honest. Okay, and the votes jumping off for them. But also, I want to say that we are good for a reaction, and I mean that meaning that we know how to put things together and make things work when we have obstacles. But I feel like there are certain obstacles that really shouldn't be present, or there should be. This is just my personal opinion. There should be direction of where we can go to go get it. Because to have a new order in place that we didn't have before and say we need this kind of insurance, now we have to shop around or to identify how to get it, where to go, versus having some guidance on where to go, I think is unfortunate. And then to be able to get information that the application is denied so late or delayed is also an inconvenience, because it's like, dag.
Right.
I have no time
to do it. You have no time to fight it. And then you inform me, when we found out Friday, when I got the call, it was already 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
and it was like, okay, we could still fight this, but the city closed at what, 4:30.
And then what the businesses you gonna call the insurance? They're gonna be closed.
Closed too. It's Friday. It's the
Friday.
weekend. What can we do? So,
Yeah.
it's just upsetting. I feel like the city just wants us to just. I feel like they want to separate us into just one area, and they want us to sit there and be quiet. Yeah. They don't want us to say anything. They don't want the community day of prayer is not harming the community. The community day of prayer is for the community. As an event that I know that y'all have been at and have seen, there's no issues that would arise. Don't get me wrong. I know things can happen, but as an event that was a positive event, an uplifting event, I feel as though it should have been. Okay, sure. Like let's make this happen. Let's have this event. There's no reason why it shouldn't have happened. And when it comes to uplifting the community, and then let's not forget 48 hours prior to that, the Juneteenth was shut down for the same reason. Right. And so it's like, thank God we had the church to back us up, but it shouldn't have come to that. It shouldn't have been something where we coming together to uplift each other, and you just want to shut us down and say, okay. Sorry. Like, if you're saying that, we really don't know, because I haven't heard anything.
Yeah. And that is really disheartening. So I sit on the zoning board or planning. I don't know. I'm on something. And there's a process of things that go before us that we have to review and do our due diligence of research and ask questions about. I believe that the City of Niagara Falls, when it comes down to these events, if you change the thing or you readjusted the thing, there should have been some information released.
There should have been a bulletin release in the paper, like everything else was released.
And I'm not saying that it hasn't, but what I do understand is that Niagara Falls, no shout to the Niagara Falls Gazette, which is not read by those who are member children grown up. But
That's a
it's
fact.
like the method that you're using to blast out isn't an efficient method like it used to be.
True.
I'm not sure how many people still read the Niagara Falls Gazette.
I don't. I read it. I'm gonna be honest with you. When I go to the coffee shop in the morning, they have them, and I read whatever's on the front, and that's it.
That's it.
And I keep going.
So you can hide in there and say, "Oh yeah, we sent a message out," but if we don't know,
then how can we
prepare? And to find out that it takes a longer time to accomplish this goal, let us know. So then also. And I don't know if they had it or not, because the Juneteenth just happened with the NAC. Was it required for them? But I also found
there was also a community day the same day as the community day of prayer, out on 70th Street in Lacelle, hosted by the Niagara Falls Police.
So the question now is, how do we vet that the same requirements you have for us is for them?
Right.
And this is what I heard echo in my spirit. They might say, "Oh, this is the city of Niagara Falls versus the town of Niagara." You know what I'm saying? So it's
Absolutely.
wordplay. But then also understand that what I heard from a source was that this requirement isn't like state regulated or mandatory. It is something that we decide to throw in there now.
And I
so
heard
then
the
my
same
hope
thing.
is, though, and I'm gonna say this with boldness and sincerity, and I'll give them a call soon too. There's an event happening on July 4th, family friends situation. So the question is, does he have the required insurance there? Because if not, now we have another problem, because who's vetting who?
Well, exactly.
And who's checking who? Now, what you're going to come into with this kind of behavior with us trying to do things is you'll find out that we'll start bypassing you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you go, "Oh, we didn't know." Yeah, we didn't go through you.
We just did it on our own.
Valid. And I just think that
I just feel like we left with no other choice. Like, let's be honest. It's like there's nothing for our children to do here. There's no community centers. I read in the paper today, speaking of, they're looking to build a marijuana factory on town of Porter. I don't even know where that is. But it's like so many things. A couple weeks ago, they was looking to build a pet shelter at Hyde Park. But you're not building a community center for my kids. Right. You're not building anything to help us out, but you're building all around. Just like that, what is it? If you live in a certain district, you can go, there's a meeting where you can go get more money to build up your house on the outside, but you have to live in that district, which I think is like DeVoe or something. I just feel like we all been quiet, and this is just not time for that no more.
The challenge with that is that the money that is designed to help us succeed or excel is being taken from us to fund other projects.
Oh, wow.
so there's something called the CBD fund, which is Community Block Club grant. So it's our streets, it's housing, it's maintenance, it's these things, but we want to take from there and apply them to places that don't aid to us. Now,
yeah.
I am on the planning board, so we get reviews of site plans, or I think it's the zoning board, because we decide whether or not what they want to do fits that area.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
So long story short, there are things that are happening in the area that aid more so to tourism,
$1 million
physical
centers.
appeal, versus, and these are other investors from the outside coming in to do a thing here, but our own city hasn't invested in our city for those who are less fortunate, those who have needs. And I'm not saying we have to be like Buffalo, but Buffalo has something they call Saturday Academy.
Yeah.
It has programs, and I'm not. I'll say this: Niagara Falls is not without programs.
No.
It's not enough.
Right.
programs.
Like the school program, their kids, the summer program, once the slots fill up, it fills up. So what about the kids who don't have nowhere to go, nothing else to do? And that's the free camp. So all the other camps cost money. You know, it's not just affecting one thing. Like, and I think that's what it's bigger than just us. It's our kids. It's everything that's going on in the city. And then now you got cops just harassing people, and it's unfair. It's unfair. Our kids don't deserve it. I personally won't settle for it, and I feel like it's time for us to wake everybody else up and say, look, what's going to change? Like, how do we get our city back? Like, I remember growing up and our grandparents nurtured this city. They loved this city. Like, now we just living here. We that's unfair.
I can definitely recall in the days of, I sound so old, in the days of my youth.
Always.
When I was younger, though, we had people who, I didn't understand the fight then, but there were political figures who had my similar tone, whether a little bit darker, a little lighter, but they were active in change, bringing about things. This young man whose name I won't mention, who played a major role in the things that he's done, and I'm grateful for the things that has been done.
Absolutely.
But I will say that with maturity, getting older, life changing, body changing, kids happening, kids growing up, getting grandkids, great grandkids, their priorities are a little bit different now than it were back then. But my question is, I'm missing the passing of the torch of the fire required to really be aggressive in what needs to happen for change. Now, I'm going to speak from this point of view because I have no problem, I say it all the time, especially when it comes down to the power of the church.
We're segregated. Why can't we work together? Why is every church separate? It's like, and I'm not blaming the church, but if we supposed to be leading by example, you know, then how, if our community don't see us getting along and us doing things together, how can we tell them to do this, go out and tell them to do the same thing if we're not doing it?
Yeah, unique with greetings. For sure.
Oh, hey, Nico, I didn't even see that.
Because we really, and I say this all the time, we can get complacent.
Absolutely.
And that's why I'm getting in trouble here. It's always a little trigger word. Because we look, where is the succession? Where is the importance of both community, local government, the church, our children, our parents, the struggle, and helping each other out? I get the pandemic happened. I can get into all these excuses. But now is the time. Do your people, let me pause.
Do your people know that you're there?
Valid. Let's back up. As leadership, are we aware to what's happening in the communities that we say we serve?
I think we're aware. I think we just ignore it, and I think we feel like, Frank, you're going to get me in a lot of trouble. I think that they're older. I think that, like you said, their time to rest. It's time for them to rest. And I think that it's not, I don't know the word to say it, but I just don't think that they have the fight anymore. Sure. So I think it's time to find new fighters. Right. But also, too, how many young people are in the church, you know? And
valid. So let's pause right there, because the Bible talks about this. It says, I call the young because they're strong. I call the old because they know the way. There is a level of wisdom in conversation and knowing certain pathways that the elders are supposed to give. But in return, there should be a fire, somebody willing to fight for what needs to be fought for.
Right.
But I feel like, because you said the second statement was, but those fighters are not necessarily in the church. I'm gonna pause here. Please don't be offended, but take it as you want it. We want to, we want them in the choir. We want them to work and execute. But are you preparing them to be soldiers, not just in the army of the Lord? If I die, let me die. But to understand that your position in your role, that you are a agent of change.
Absolutely.
You are a person designed and destined to bring about transformation. Make it biblical, Frank. Let's talk Moses. Moses was raised up in Egypt, raised by his mother, but that's read the story for yourself. But Moses had to come back and rescue a people and show them how to be governed by God, how to execute new law, new operations. But we're so caught up in some of these things that are not
today.
They're like
it's old stuff, yeah.
Like,
they don't want to adjust to the new way, like social media. They're not trying to do this stuff. They're not trying to, and it's sad because even raising kids of our own, you have to understand, like, when I'm raising my kids, I'm like, yo, you totally different than we were, so I have to approach you different. I really don't think that they're as strong as we were. Like, we got picked on, we was just like, cool, we got to keep going,
Yes. Unika got me reading. She said, those that care are using their voice. Look at y'all leading by example. We just need more of our people standing together. It has say more, but I can't.
Absolutely. It says, we can't reach that, Nika, but true. We need to work together. We need to stop being so divided. And just because we in the church and everybody else might not be, that doesn't stop us from working with you or hearing you out. And we hope that don't stop you from hearing our side too.
Now, I'm going to say this because I feel like I got my Malcolm X glasses on. You need both a Malcolm and a Martin. You have to balance that.
I'll be Martin, you be Malcolm, because I could talk, but...
Okay. Because what happens now is that there's a time for Ecclesiastes chapter 3. There's a time in the season for everything. Mm-hmm. There's a time to be quiet, but there's a time to speak up. It's a time to plant, it's a time to uproot. There's a time frame for everything under the sun. But I feel like we're caught up in a time loop that don't cost us nothing.
Yeah. Nika said, how can we come together and make a difference?
Valid.
I made him lose a train of thought.
No, for sure. It's here. No, because first thought, I'm coming to you, your statement, because the first thought is that we need to be able to discern the timing that we're in and what time that we're in. Let me help you out real quick. God is a God of love and compassion, but God is a God that when it's time to fight, it's time to fight.
Absolutely.
like he's a God that says, listen, all right, go and pursue and recover all. Go ahead and fight. Matter of fact, I'm going to give you the victory. Trust me. Go and fight. So there's a season of fighting that comes in our lifetime, but working together means that we have to be on the united front. Watch this. Not the same people, but we'll have the same goal.
Absolutely.
And not being afraid to know when to lead and when to follow, because that's an ever-moving scale that I find clashes. What we'll do is we'll have one person apply for a grant, use it for their own selves, versus teaching people how to apply for the same grant successfully, where we take a $2,000 grant. Now we got a $20,000 grant, and now we can execute the requirements and do what's required for our business and invest in our community.
That would be great.
But that requires a collective work and concept. I'm gonna be open and honest now. You can have the desire, but sometimes the time, without having the time and the people, it can be hard, because that is something that I really wanted to do.
Yeah.
I wanted to walk through the process of applying for the grant for the City of Niagara Falls for, I think it was it $5,000? It might be $20,000 if it wasn't minority black-owned business. And I wanted to walk through that, but my time didn't really allow me to. But the truth of the matter is that if we really have a collective concept, and that means, a collective concept means that, hey, I'll help you, you'll help me, because we're trying to accomplish a goal.
Everybody's separate. That's everybody is
separate.
Like, yo, I'm helping myself and you figure it out on your own. You're the only one that I know that is literally like, hey, let's get this done so we can go to a place. Like, when you talk, you say, we're going to a place. It's not just about you, because you have the heart for the community.
And this is real talk, I've done enough trying to do it by myself. And when I do it by myself, I am limited to how I can execute.
Absolutely.
But with a collective effort and a true fire of change or desire to change, we can do something. There are people out there, and I see you we're doing a lot of talking. There are people. I'm a great talker.
Absolutely.
I'm a good motivator. I can stir up time. I can do those things. But after I do that, I need some intense executors.
Absolutely.
I can give instructions, but I need you to write the paper. I need somebody else to walk downtown. I need somebody else to go to the mailbox. I need somebody else to create the petition. I need somebody else. You know what I'm saying? There's a collective work that's required. But the problem is that I'm talking, but I'm the. Watch how we talk about. We can be the visionary, then the executor, but we're exhausted.
That's true.
But if we all come together for real and really have a goal for transformation and work together, it shouldn't be overwhelming and overtaxing on one.
Exactly.
But if I speak and I give instructions and I'm open for conversation, I'm open for insight, understanding. But if you're a good writer, I need you to write the petition.
That's
like legit.
true. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I'm not a good writer, but I know how to operate Canva. Go on Canva, create something, go get it printed. All right. Now I need some foot soldiers out here to make everybody aware. Let's get it out here, because no matter what you say to me about media currently, the city of Niagara Falls and our residents is still a guerrilla marketing kind of city. Yes, Facebook, yes, social media, but put that pamphlet on their car Sunday morning, put that thing in their mailbox for real, and get a yard. Like, it has to be visual for them. Number 3 is find out your top tier family gossipers. You got to put that information. Yeah, playing. But what that means is
that's true.
You have to tap into it, and we have to do it together.
But we limited because, like you said, tap into our top family members.
Yeah.
Family is the ones who don't want to necessarily do it either. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to put things out there and be afraid. People are afraid to put things out there because they're afraid what people might say back. Oh, why are you doing that? Especially listening. Sometimes, even older folks, sometimes they just be like, oh, man, y'all ain't going to get nowhere with that. You know, we just got to take it for what it is. And no, we don't. We don't have to accept it. We don't. I don't, at least.
So the Bible talks about there's nothing new under the sun, which means that nothing has occurred under the sun that hasn't already occurred already, which is true. But there are certain things that can occur new in your timing. Some of us are comfortable with what we've been handling, or we've learned how to navigate inside of a messed up situation. Welcome to the city of Niagara Falls. We've learned how to operate and deal with the shystyism, I don't know if that's a word, but I made one up, in local government, not just from this regime, but even from the last one, from the before that. And these crooked individuals who we know are crooked, yet we still allow them to operate. Let me pause real quick. This is beyond just the mayor, because some people hold these positions before he even arrived.
That's a fact.
Yet there are some people that he appointed that are still operating foul. Mayor, feel free to address me, 716, fire 716 radio at gmail.com. We can have a meeting at any time when you're ready to get understanding, because like I said, I'm not here just to call out local government or just to call out the church or just the community. Everybody has to be held accountable to the work in. Yeah, there is a good feeling when you're next to somebody in power and to be around them. Oh, yeah, I got connections and I'm here. But if you're around somebody... Them
connections don't mean nothing, because your event can still get shut down.
Right, like even I'm just saying this, and I want people to Buffalo, you do it by Brown on your own. That's my guy. Greetings, sir. But getting the keys to the city and these elements, they sound good. But what is the key to a door you cannot prosper in?
Exactly. What?
You can't excel and you got to have money to make money, or it's this red tape, or I can't do, or it's always something.
It's limited.
It's limited. Yeah, and I hear somebody say, oh, if it's that bad, just leave. Yeah.
But what about the people who can't leave? What about the people that's stuck here? We can all of us want to leave. Yeah, but we have a duty. How can we leave and go do this same work somewhere else and we didn't do it in our hometown?
And that's the part I'm talking about, because, you can run to the DMV, you can run to Atlanta where the work and the plow has already been completed. I'm not knocking it.
Right.
But I'm telling you right now, what about the city that I'm in right now, where my grandmother, my aunts, my nieces, my nephews, my family, my relatives, my friends who are
where
here.
My foundation is laid. Like, come on, man.
I'll say this clearly, that there are people who are right here in the city of Niagara Falls, who are not part of the have-nots, they got a little something, who are doing well right here.
Absolutely.
Why can't we?
Exactly.
Why can't we tap into it? Why can't we come together and build an organization that says we want to revamp and revitalize the community center? We want to build something. Why can't we come together and apply for the grants? Watch the vision. Pay attention, please. Pay attention quickly and call a neighbor. Why can't we, with our different organizations, apply for grants for the city, multiple, take a portion of that grant money and begin to build an institution, let me pause here because it's a fresh thought, not only from the ground up, but revamp a building from multiple proceeds from different organizations. Let me pause while I'm here. Churches, if we can apply for a grant for a need of the city.
Absolutely.
And we can apply for that grant and take a portion of that and aim it towards the building of something, or watch it, the funds to handle the responsibility of the building, to open up your doors, to give our kids something to do and to teach. Watch this technology, because I'm going to I'm here now, I'm preaching now. And allow them to come into a space where they can learn AI, they can learn resume building, they can learn media production, they can learn and do a thing, but that requires somebody to write, put in the work and do the research and do a collective group where we can take a $50,000 grant and multiply that fivefold. We can do it together as a unit, because if I write it and I got it, I can write yours and you can get it.
Yeah.
So we can have these things that's available to us to help us with this change. This season now is like, hey, what's the plan of action? My pastor asked me recently, and I'm going to let Kiera talk again because I'm on a roll. And what it is, she asked me, I'm waiting for you to write up the plan.
Oh, wow.
Oh, say less. So I'm responsible to write up the plans that I see in the vision from this church community concept and observation, or perspective rather, to write it up. But that includes training our children. That includes teaching politics. Because we got people in the city right now, we don't even know what's going on.
Listen, I'm guilty. I know a little bit. I don't know a lot, but I be trying to teach myself. But I agree with you. I think it just needs to be different. I think everybody, but like you said, I think it has to come from everybody. It can't just come from 1 or 2, 10 people. We need hundreds. There's power in numbers. So where's the numbers at?
Right, and I hear the echo. I hear things, so I'm probably here. I hear things. And the separation of church and state. I hear you. Mm-hmm. You want to share? If that's the case, don't let these people inside your walls when it comes time to vote and spew lies or false promises or giving the illusion of things changing, and they don't measure up.
That's a fact.
Enough is enough. Of trying to look like we connected to the people.
Oh, absolutely.
Now I get it, because I've been to churches who have been a part of the political run where the mayor or the senate and these people come in and help them to accomplish certain things to build the church. But my question is, are you going to depend upon the government, or are you going to depend upon God? Because the text that I read says that the government shall rest upon his shoulders. It lets me know that God can take a Pharaoh who knew not Joseph, make his heart hard, but change his heart at the same time, and he not even understand what's going on. Some of us are so gullible, I'm going to say how I feel it, to trying to look like we got some connection and some power to somebody and some people because they show up, that you forgot the power of what God can do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Forgive me for those who like, why he preaching? This is just who I am.
That's a fact.
I'm dependent on God, and he can do anything through anyone. That's why you can't shut down a Juneteenth. That's why you can't shut down a community of prayer. This is why you can't stop what's getting ready to happen in these, I'm going to just say how I hear it, in these next few months. Not saying that we have an aim or a target on your back or anything like that, but we're going to succeed in educating and informing people so they can make their own decisions, because what we're not going to do is keep doing the same thing and keep praying for change.
Same results, yeah. We do nothing and just be like, and somebody said to me last week, they said, this is why I don't vote, because things like this happen. And I said, that's not the
valid.
answer. The answer is, I need you to vote. I need you to show up. Your vote matters. Your vote counts. You need to know what's going on. What are we doing if we just living here and existing and not being a part of anything? Like, what is that? Yeah. And I just think it's time for us to come together to be a part of something that's bigger than us, and it's bigger than we even know, truthfully.
No, for
it's
sure.
just,
and I'm going to show you how I know it's bigger. outside of the spiritual concept of what God says, but on the principle of investors keep coming to invest into a city that's what? Miserable?
Right.
That's down. They believe that there's going to be an upswing, there's going to be a change, but we are in our own city, segregated among ourselves. Like I asked with Dante, like, who's been on Third Street for the concert on Thursdays?
Not us, because it's not for us. Nothing is for us, but until we make our needs known, how can we get anything? Let's be honest. Nobody, how many people go to city council meetings? I'm guilty too, but I have been to a couple. I just don't go consistently.
For sure.
But I have been to one, you know, like just different things. It's not always just about coming to church to show up. There's different ways that you could show up. Go to city council meeting and see what's going on. Say something on the mic. The mic is open. All you gotta do is get there early to sign up. And sign on the sheet and meet the people. See what other people want, because it's really not just us complaining. It's people that's Caucasian complaining too. Trust me.
No, for sure. Like, this is not just a black and white thing.
It's not that. It's bigger than that.
But what I will say this is too, and y'all not ready for this, for real. Stop taking from the city, oh, this is your day now. Those are pacifier situations. Oh, we're gonna name today after you because it sound good. Mm-hmm. Well, if you gonna name a day after me, let's change some things.
Yeah. Make that day make the whole city different. Make
it different. Like,
why y'all keep putting these pot fillers? What is it called? Pothole fillers, man. I'm so tired of seeing them in the city.
And I say this for real, and I say this only because the city has presented this through documentation, and they said it's been up in meetings. We are piss poor when it comes down to financial management.
Wow.
The pothole fillers that we're doing, we already know that they haven't lasted. They're not going to last, but they say that it's better than having men out there doing the work, which is getting the same results. Then the question is, what is the plan to resolve the problem? We
need some new gravel. That's the plan. Get some different type of concrete that goes down there that doesn't crumble so fast.
So
the same way you can get cheap, better salt that don't make the ground crumble, like they use in Canada.
That and not only that, have enough salt for it.
All of us. What do you
haven't had the salt?
It's salt, right? Like what?
And I get these are people in place and responsibilities, but we have to figure out a way. You got downtown doing. You want to take from our money. And I say our money because the community block club grant money is designed for us to help the community. But
so who get this money?
They want to take it from there. So that money is invested in what you call the demolition of houses. It's the fixing, cutting the grass. It is the ground.
No, it should be given to people who live in the city, in their houses. Give them money to fix up their houses and things that they need that maybe they can't afford.
That's not how they're working it. But they're taking it and applying it to other things. They're not going to bring revenue to the community that they're taking from. Now, they want to use the money for parks and these other things. It's like, no, if the idea, I think this is Dante's concept, and I agree, feel free to check me, that if it's such a great idea, let somebody else fund it.
That's a fact.
Let somebody else.
Let somebody else. You got so many investors. Let somebody else.
Because that was the whole issue with in these housing. You'll see after 2025 that the college kids is going to be in the hood.
They better not be.
No, I'm telling you. They passed the situation that said that the kids can no longer occupy units in DeVoe. More if they're not considered.
Do you know how many units they occupy in DeVoe right now?
DeVoe complains about loud noise and the kids and that, and so they assume moving them out. Now, when you first
so they're gonna come disturb the hood neighborhood?
They come into the hood, and when you look at the map, they're like, oh, they're going to Buffalo. No, they come into the hood. So it's called R1 and R2. This affects the whole city. But our ones are single family residences. It should only be one family or one person. It shouldn't be two. You can't be roommates. Can't be renting out rooms. But that then means that you open up this space to 10th Street, 11th Street, Highland Avenue. Wait a minute.
Wait, what?
You are getting ready to take college kids. Watch this. From a safe, we understand, a safer area in DeVoe, and move them into a place.
That makes no sense.
Doesn't make sense. And we said it to them. Well, and you want to move in, then build.
How did so in you let this pass, or they had no control over it?
You had really no control over necessarily because it was the people. Somebody put this petition in, wherever the case may be, but it's like it passed. Now what? So when they go look for housing, now as a parent,
I would be concerned.
What happens is, but think about as a parent, I don't even know Niagara Falls like that.
Oh yeah.
So if I go into this area, I'm assuming that's good. But when I come pull up. And
that's like
I got crack and meth in the corner of my daughter, right? Like, I'm not saying they don't have access to it from the vote.
No, but listen, it's a better.
But what happened was, nobody came to attest that.
Wow.
Nobody's showing up to give their
because
thoughts.
they're not from here. They don't know to come. That's not a fair argument. They're not even from here to know to come argue and say, how can you put my kid in this area?
But even the people here, we don't, like, when I tell you that we're not tapped in as a unit to what's happening, those are things that we don't know. Yeah,
that's a fact because I did not know that.
Yeah, Chick-fil-A is coming.
We don't want that. I'm sorry, I don't want that, man. I don't. I just the traffic. Okay, boom. But what good is that going to do for us? Military Road is already crazy. They're
about to invest in plant life. They're about to let some of this wild grass grow. Gill Creek doing some construction over there. Not the city, but people are coming in from outside the city so that they can have a cleaner water source. They were doing some work on Main Street and like First Street, something about the walkway or something.
Why they not revitalizing Main Street? That's my big one.
The city is not investing in like it's supposed to, and then the city gave money to. This is what I'm talking about. The city gave money to a real company who ain't got the money to invest.
That's crazy.
And then tried to get the city to pick back up this. It's like a mortgage. I don't know my word, but not own it, but pick it back up and pay for it, so it can look like they're doing something.
They're not doing anything.
It's nothing happening,
man. Listen.
Like, and I love, and please don't be offended. Those who may watch this, I'm not knocking the mirrors and the pictures and the decorum, but you can't put paint on a scar. You can't put a tattoo over an open wound and call it miraculous.
They already put a police station down there, so come on. I mean,
like, come on, like there are things that need to happen. Revamp, investment, break it down, build it up.
That's a fact.
Turn it around. What's really the plan for developing the city of Niagara Falls so we can look like something? There should be a program, and I said it before, I'll say it now, that takes a business, a small business, with a plan, investment, and finances, and you take a process of journeying, which is with the electricians and carpenters, and y'all work on a plan to revamp a building, to build it up, that this business can enter into that space, and then prepare to add more. And there should be businesses at the bottom, housing at the top. You can do a thing. With our investment, we want to, and part of my aggression, we want to build a park. We want to build a dog park, a dog shelter
on Hyde
Park.
Why? Because there's a lot of lost stray dogs in the city. Because I haven't seen any.
It's not, and the person who got it is in the Grand Island. Not even presidents. The dogs we got now, gotta go to Grand Island to go find them. She only got room for 15 dogs, but the contract say 30. Like, it doesn't even make sense. And there's a lady right now who bought her own building, who wants to take over the whole concept, but we still acting funny.
Wow, that's terrible. Rafa Random.
Rafa Random's greetings. We're just talking about what's happening in the city region. There's a need to educate the people and really talk about what's going on and really where we are. And where we gotta go. Like,
it's a fact. We got to get out of this bubble that the city placed us in and come outside and do more than what they think we can do. Yes. And stop limiting. I think we limit ourselves like, oh, I'm just here for a good time, but it got to be more than that, y'all. It got to be more. You got to come out of your shell, and myself included, because I really just was gonna take it, just be quiet. But how can you take it? It's all I think about.
I don't think this is a time to tuck tail. Mm-hmm. Like I'm not saying that you got to be. Maybe you got to be. I
don't got to be too bold. I just got to speak. God said, "I gave you the gift to speak." Speak. Right. So that's really.
And the Bible says, "Cry loud and spare not." So I'm at a place right now. I'm about to start vlogging actually, and writing, because I got so much that's on my heart and my mind. But I got to get it out, because what good is it within? What good is it holding it? What good is it being limited when God is like,
when there's other people that need it too? It's like, it's not just about what we doing is not just about us. It's literally about this whole community. So Rafa's asking about the monks. I did not see them, Rafa.
Yeah, no, my storyline is a little different. I did not see them personally. Bless you.
Thank you.
I didn't see them personally, but I see them pictures and photos, and yeah.
Right.
I'm so sorry not to be that person.
I wanted to go see them, but I did not. I was at work. I did not see them.
I seen pictures, and I told y'all I think I seen somebody in a blue truck. I'm telling you,
You might have did though. You might have did. They might have just been coming to visit, and
They could
you know,
have been coming to visit.
they could have been from here. Maybe you know.
Yeah, so, you know, what?
We got a little off topic, y'all.
No,
So
it's okay.
but it's all good.
Yeah, I don't want to go into that.
You waved at them. Did they wave back?
They were coming off the bridge.
They was walking.
I've been walking.
Coming from Key West, Florida. That's crazy.
Yeah. You know what? Actually, my friend, we off topic. My friend, whose name I cannot recall, which is, please don't judge me. Kelly, thank God, hallelujah. They did a freedom walk. They did a freedom walk years ago, so it's doable. I've seen it done.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. But my thing is now, okay. No, I'll be careful. That's kind of mean. I'll give honor and respect to their walk, their journey, and what they've done. I think it's impactful. I think that even being able to see them probably is breathtaking, just an experience. Because sometimes
Right,
you don't see
it
things.
says
You see it on TV, but
TV.
you never meet them or talk to them
Yeah.
and get wisdom. But my question is, now what? Like, okay, now they came.
So they're
we're grateful
here,
for that,
yeah.
and they're here,
But
and I'm
where they
grateful for
going
that.
now?
And I don't want to diminish that
I
journey.
get you, I
and
get
please
you.
be clear. But we give great accolades to these moments, which I think are amazing. But now that moment has come and it's monumental for them, where we at for us?
Right. We be excited.
Why are we not walking them?
That's a fact.
Not that we need to exercise.
And I know the barrier probably is too is that why fight for somebody that's not gonna fight for me, because like you said, we are separate. So just because I know you got my back, the next person might not feel like, oh,
Yeah.
you got,
Yeah.
you know. So it's really gonna be some barriers that we're gonna have to break collectively. But like Frank said, we a new generation, y'all. We not. Our parents did what they needed to do.
Josh, young
Our grandparents did it.
Yeah.
Is the time is now, and it's time for us. And we're the only ones that can lead the pack, and
Yeah.
it's time for us to rise up to the
Rise to the
occasion.
occasion. And it starts with, unfortunately, it does start with a conversation. It starts
do.
with a planning. It starts with stirring up the pot. It starts with getting people who have the same desire. Because some people need to be led.
And that's a
I
fact.
have the same burn, but I don't know how to execute. How do I move in it? How do I
Right.
navigate?
Get
How
it.
do I do these things? And you gotta, if you don't speak,
How we know you
how
having
will they
those
know you have it?
thoughts? That's a
But
fact.
like I said, after you start speaking, it's time for action, a plan of action.
Don't get afraid of those thoughts either. Don't let them
valid.
thoughts just sit there. People sitting on gold mines right
Gold
now.
mines.
Don't even know it.
And then don't let nobody talk you out of what I want to say your heart, what your purpose is in
In
life.
life, that's a fact.
If I'm an agent of change,
That's what I
that means I
am.
got to shake some things up,
Mm-hmm.
move some things.
I watched a sermon today titled "Cut from a Different Cloth," and it was like, I want to talk to the dreamers. And, you know, I always be dreaming, and he was like, it's hard because you can't share your dreams with everybody because somebody might tell you crazy. Like I done told people like I seen Jesus, and people be like, you know, like, so you have to know who to talk to and who to tap into with certain things. Everybody is not, every friend, every associate cannot handle every conversation. I know it's
Joseph.
things Frank can handle that I can't even process and handle, but I know other things, there's things that's not meant for me and Frank to talk about, you know what I'm saying? So even my mentor, you know, I know what to say and, you know, what not to say, you know, and it's not anything against her, but even my friends, I don't tell my friends everything because I know they can't handle everything, and I know that the things that God gave me to carry are meant for me to carry.
For sure. Like even Joseph couldn't tell his brothers to dream.
Yeah, because they couldn't handle him. They tried to get rid of my boy. Like, they just tried to take him out, and everything worked together full circle like he knew it would, but they would have never understood that.
But the question that I have for you guys tonight or this afternoon or this evening, where this may find you in the universe, is: are you ready to be that? Somebody said to me recently, a prophetic word: "You're rebellious, not in the bad way. And I understood what they meant because Mary, Jesus' mother, her name means to be rebellious,
Oh, wow.
which means that I'm not going with this flow that you've been in. I'm not this order that you have. I'm not really subscribing to it. And what happens right now, my question is, are you willing to go against the flow?
Absolutely.
Are you willing to go against the current?
Are you
Now,
willing
I
to go
preached that
against the everyday
before.
normal?
Valid. I'm going to preach that 3 ways, okay? Let's pay attention. It's called a double entendre. It might be triple. Are you willing to go against the current? Number one, that means the water of the waves. Instead of going with the flow of things, you're going against it. It means that there is resistance. That's one. You ready? Part 2 is, are you willing to go against the current? Are you willing to go against everything is saying right now in your current life to go this way, but the call is saying go a different way.
That's a
Are
fact.
you willing to face the current? Last one. This is a threefold core, and I'm about to done. Says a preacher. Sometimes electricity has a current. Are you ready to face the charge that is coming to your life?
Okay, I like that one the best.
Because things are getting ready to get lit up, and sometimes it's that which gets lit up isn't always ideal, if that makes sense. It's sometimes uncomfortable, it's challenging. Why you choose me? Why is it this? Why is it that?
It's gonna get heavy, but
ain't nobody else. Ain't nobody else getting. I gotta get out of that.
That's a part of the process, though. That's life. Literally, your daily life might be harder than the next person because your life is designed for you to handle it. So it's not. He's not saying that for y'all to be afraid of that. He's just saying that it's not going to be easy. It's going to be a fight. It wasn't easy for the people who came before us, and it wasn't for the people that came before them. So, of course, it's not going to be any easier. And what I want to say, I probably shouldn't say, so I'm just not going to say it. But it's always going to be a challenge when it's us.
For sure.
It's really just that simple. And it's not to say that it's about race, but it's always going to be a challenge when it's us. So,
quick examples. It never rained, but Noah had to talk about rain.
Rain, yeah.
So he had to talk about something that they knew nothing about.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And not only that, he had to build in the presence of everybody saying he was crazy to be building.
That was crazy.
Moses couldn't speak well, but yet had to talk in front of the people.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it was Isaiah, it could be Ezekiel, check your prophets when you get a chance. The Lord says, be not afraid of their faces. But for God to say that means that he was afraid of how the people will respond. Jeremiah, I might get out and preaching now, I got to go, was a weeping prophet, which means that he wrote the book of Lamentations, which means that he lamented, which means that he carried the weight of the emotions of the people who didn't listen to God and got frustrated, but still had to do what had to be done. For some reason, we think that the call or the unction of change means that things are going to be easy. What it really means is that things are getting ready to light up for you. Things are going to be challenging, but you have the power and the ability to persevere and overcome. But you cannot quit in this moment. To my people who are aspiring to be viral or be lit, what's the point of being an influencer if you're not bringing about change?
That's a fact. And he used examples from the Bible, but I'm going to use myself.
Listen,
I wasn't always saved, and when I had the first event, I was scared. I remember saying, like, who am I to put this together? But God had gave me the day of prayer long before I was saved. And when he gave it to me, he would give me bits and pieces, and I would just write it down. Until one day I looked at it, and I was like, I got a whole thing planned right here. Wow. And so I sent the email, like, I think this should happen. And Bishop Scott was like, let's make it happen. Wow. And I was like, I can't go out there and speak. Like, he was like, yeah, you going to MC? I'm like, I can't MC. I can't talk. I've been in the club. I've been in the streets. I've done some things, and I know that. And I think for a while, truthfully, I was afraid of that. Like, I'm not perfect. I know what I've been doing, and that's all going to come to this light, you know? And he was like, yeah, but that's your testimonies, because look what God can do in the midst of that. Look how fast he can change things, you know, I started going to church in May. I think in June I got saved. By December, I got fellowshipped into the church, you know. It was like a whole 360 in a matter. It was quick, and I remember it was so quick that I was like, yo, like I backed up for a minute, and it was even harder. And I was like, no, I got to go back. But then it was COVID, so we couldn't go to church. So I was watching service online. I was watching Transformation Church, and that's how I was staying in tune. And then I remember finding out that the church doors was open, and I was like, I gotta go, and I just went. You know, like God ain't only looking; He's using us too. It's not just everything ain't sweet, everything ain't perfect for us. Yeah. I was in the club partying. I could tell you the last time I went to the club, I was saved. I got saved in June. I went to the club in July. When I went to the club, I was in there like, I am not supposed to be here. Like, I felt so out of place. Like, I kid y'all not. And then was in that moment when I knew, like, this is not it. But I'm going to tell you the truth. I tried again. I tried to go to the bar again. I went to the bar. It was lit, Frank. It was cars everywhere. I remember it so clearly. And when I got out of the car, I realized I didn't have my wallet. I was like, dang. So I was like, I'm going to go get some cash. No wallet. So I went home, got my wallet. I went back to the bar. There was no cars there. So I went to another bar. This was when the bar was on Welch, JoJo's, over there on Cutterback. And I was like, I went there. It was lit. I was like, oh, yeah, I'm about to park. I'm going here. Next thing I know, I was pulling up at home. That's it. And I was like, okay, God, I guess it's over. It's over, you know. You just go with what God does. Like, sometimes the way He does it is unexplainable, is crazy, and you can't even think, but He using all of us. It's not just...
No, and He's using us, not just all of us, but He's using people that, I say this recently, who don't necessarily subscribe to the way that we execute Jesus and God. Now, see, they don't trust Him, they don't believe in Him. They just like, this religion, the way y'all doing it, I'm just not really rocking.
That's a fact. He trying to show you something.
But God is literally doing a thing. My brother in love, and I tell him all the time, I'm like, oh yeah, what's going on, my guy? I know you don't subscribe to us, but he come to church anyway. He show up, but Sunday, God was on him. Was on his talking to him. I said, boy, God was on your head, wasn't he? He said, yeah. I said, I know, because God is trying to get us to a place.
That's a fact.
And trying to get us to operate in the power. Watch this. In the power that He gave us. In the power that He gave us.
Means you can't sit in the back pew no more. You got to get up and go to the front.
Got to. You have to. You are so powerful that you need to flex your muscle now for the power that you have. I say this, and I'm just churchy. If Jesus can conquer death, hell, and grave in 3 days, if we can die, that same power abides in us. We can change a thing quickly.
That's a fact. Quickly.
By
the end of the year.
By the end of the...
By the end of the summer. What? Let's man.
Let's do a thing.
Let's do it. Let's find a solution.
Valid. Man, it's a good month for me because my church, all we got is Sunday.
No, period.
Sunday and every other Wednesday.
Yep.
Come August, leave me alone now.
We got to start planning right now,
But valid. I encourage everybody to really tap into what's required for your life now. Get involved, be a part, wherever city, state, wherever you at, man. Just don't brush it off. Don't let somebody else can do it. No, there's a call for you to do it. There's a call for you to make things happen, and now is that time. And
it's gonna hurt more if you don't make it happen. You'll be less.
You'll be like
beyond unsatisfied. You're gonna be miserable. Nobody. And you ain't gonna be able to tell nobody why. You're just gonna be able to say.
And as much as I speak about the challenges of it, there's blessings in doing it.
Absolutely.
I don't know who I'm talking to, but I'll say it because this is what I hear. It could be talking to myself or Kiera. The reason why you haven't embraced the success that your soul is yearning for is because you haven't boldly did or keep doing what He told you to do. You cannot do sporadic obedience. You have to do consistent obedience. Consistent obedience is going to yield you what you need, not just to survive, but overflow. It's going to cause you to move when you don't feel like moving, going after things when you have the insufficient funds. It's going to cause you to go places and do things that are outside of your wheelhouse, but that's why He said it's better to, obedience is better than sacrifice. Yes. That rather you obey versus trying to get I'm going to get out the way. I'd rather you obey than trying to get every duck in a row.
Absolutely.
Rather you obey than trying to be perfect. I'd rather you obey. Welcome David, the murderer, the man who took that woman off the top porch. Yeah, him. I'd rather you be obedient. Noah, you drunkard. I'd rather you obey. I'd rather you obey. Peter, you ear cutter, denier, you. Obey. I'd rather you obey.
Kiera, obey.
Frank, obey.
Listen. It's not always. I think that I've obeyed probably the most in my 5 years of being saved this year.
Yeah. Hope my sister not watching.
I think that there's some things I could still work on, but I know operating in my faith, I've been doing that. I've done a lot that I know I did not want to do, and I still don't want to do, but I do because I know that He told me to do it.
So, quick story that I'm leaving. So, a friend of mine, she's a sister in the Lord, and I won't call her name out. She may watch this, but why you have my business idea? If you don't say nothing, they won't know. I prophesied to her that an opportunity was coming to her that was going to change her life. Ooh. And she called me 2 days ago, I think it might have been Friday, and she said, I just want to call you and let you know that the opportunity came, but I did not take it. She said, I did not take it because of the friction or the chaos that was happening with management at the time. And I told her, thank you for the call, I appreciate that, but God really He's trying to bless you. Yeah. And no matter what's going on, you need to embrace the blessing. But I pray that God grants you the opportunity to embrace this moment again, that you take it. But I said that to say, some of us are not obedient in the opportunity. True. Yet we're not seeing the fruit of our labor. I'm guilty. I'm guilty. I'm a preacher. I can't help it. I'm a preacher that DJs prophesying line dance. I just it's what it is.
It's too much.
But yeah. You want to say to the people?
Man, I just want to say, y'all, I watched this video. I don't even know the guy's name, but he talked about how our people are consciously unconscious. If I'm saying that wrong, correct me. But I think it's time to wake up. I think it's time to go beyond your four walls of your home, beyond the streets, and to come together as one. Because ultimately, we are one. We bleed the same. Come on, man. We all represent each other at the end of the day, and no one of us is better than the other one. We all got stories. We all got past. We just out here trying to make it right. We just trying to, we lived, we did what we had to do up in the club, vibing, and now
don't be twisted.
we did all of that. We just ready to make change, and and you don't have to be saved to make change. Like, let's make that clear too. You don't have to just be a Christian. You don't have to be. We are a community. This whole city of Niagara Falls, we are a community. We can't all.
Fighters at?
Right, like where are we gonna line up? Let's line up and let's show them what we can do, and not always show them the negative side of us.
Got it. Listen, that's all I got for y'all.
It's been real.
It's been real. It's been life.
We'll be back.
We'll be back, valid. We might be back with some little bit of Lipton.
Tea. Some tea. Oh yeah, we got some juice.
No,
not really, but it sounded good. It sounded good. We can get some though. We can listen. We about to have late night news in Niagara Falls.
I might now you in my say less.
We might have it. Like, look, y'all see right now at that gas station over there, somebody doing something. That's how we gonna go. We gonna do it.
Yeah, it's crazy. They moved from one side of 19th right down. I said, what is happening?
It's terrible.
And I know who owned a bar. I'm get out of that. All right, y'all.
No,
yeah. That might be a situation. Look out for late night tea.
I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, that didn't make any sense. You need to get all the way away if you're going to get away. Like, come on.
But all right, I'll let y'all.
We love
Peace,
y'all.
Love.
Have a good night.
All right.